Hello everyone, welcome to our Facebook page here at 3W Medical for Women. My name is Alejandra and I'm here with our CEO, Helen Nguyen.
Hi there everyone.
And this is a huge treat to have Helen because today is our 10th anniversary. The 10th anniversary of our organization's beginnings, right?
Yes. Our corporate organization, Women's Accessible Medical Services.
Yes. So you guys may have remembered from last year we did this, and it's kind of crazy for me even to think about having done this with you last year, just a year ago. So again, but this is even bigger because it is our 10th anniversary. So I'm just going to ask you some questions too.
Let's go.
All right. So what does it feel like to say it's been 10 years?
Yeah.
And, since the beginnings of you and Melanie, who's the co-founder, started 3W Medical.
Yeah, it feels really surreal that 10 years have passed. It's a big number to have reached. And I just, in some ways, never thought we'd get here. But it's today, and it feels like we just started in some ways, and it also feels, it's very, I feel two different things. In some ways, it feels like it went by too fast, and in some ways, it feels like I'm like, oh my gosh, but there's still so much to do, so much more to accomplish, so much more to grow as an organization. So it's an interesting kind of finish line. 10 years under our belt. It kind of also makes me feel a little old, but I think that's just my 30s talking. But
Wow. Well, I also remember its beginnings, just hearing about the idea, and I remembered, I think I calculated I was 18.
Oh my gosh.
I heard like its beginning, so I was like, wow, that's been a while.
Yeah.
So, wow. Well, what are some of the hurdles? Because I know, just like any nonprofit, you go through hurdles in the beginning. What were some that were pretty profound for you and the team and the board as you began?
Yeah, oh gosh. I don't have enough fingers and toes to talk about, to count how many hurdles we've gone through. Each one I'm in some way grateful for because it has taught us so much. It has some experiences you can't learn until you go through them. There are no shortcuts. Yeah. And so starting a nonprofit from the ground up, with WAMS starting out and then really focusing on 3W as the medical piece to WAMS as an organization, as a corporate organization, that took a lot of intentionality, that took a lot of trial and error. And in so many ways, we made mistakes like any other new nonprofit organization that's starting. We made hiring mistakes, we made policy mistakes. We were very blessed and lucky in a lot of ways as well. We had a lot of wonderful people that came to the table and helped us walk through those difficult moments. But every learning experience is kind of like a battle scar that I'm pretty proud of, because we really have learned so much through these 10 years. And not only as an organization have we learned so much, we've learned so much about ourselves as individuals, of how resilient we are, and how this mission is worth fighting for. It's worth moving beyond those boundaries, because it's not about us at the end of the day. It's about this mission that we're called to roll up our sleeves and get dirty sometimes and wade through the muddy challenges of what's ahead. And there's still going to be mistakes made. One of my mentors always said, fail fast. It's one of our it's one of our biggest lessons is fail fast, right? And move on, learn from it, try not to make those same mistakes. But we're people, and that comes with the territory.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, you've done it with very much grace, and
it's
contagious to the rest of us.
Thank you.
So it's good.
Thanks.
What was one of the convictions, or what was the conviction and drive that continued, even though you encountered those hurdles? What gave you that drive to continue to see it come to what it is now?
Yeah. Melanie has her own kind of journey and personal touch as to why she wanted to start this organization. It was very personal for her in the sense of what she's gone through as someone that experienced sexual assault, that's someone that experienced a health crisis in college. And so it was driven from that passion. And I can't fully embody how she would say it, but I think that's what drove her a lot of the times to get through those hurdles. For me, it was my experience with the healthcare system and how in many ways they dismissed me as a patient in many of these larger healthcare systems where you kind of get lost in the hurdle. And you kind of get lost in the policies of like billing and red tape and all of that stuff. I felt very much like a number whenever I went to the doctors. And as a young woman, I felt like it wasn't sitting well with what I know I deserved when I walked into a doctor's office. And so I felt like, okay, if I'm feeling this way, and I'm a pretty vocal, opinionated, and strong-headed person, how many more of my peers were feeling that way? And I didn't want more people to be jaded or kind of chewed through the system and then came out and then be very distrusting of of medical care. And so I felt like I needed to walk the talk. You know, if I really care about women's health, if I really care about children, and if I really care about human dignity and all of that, I need to put my money where my mouth is. I really need to dive headfirst into what I felt my heart was pulling me to do as a profession. You know, I'm a trained social worker. I don't know the first thing to starting a nonprofit or fundraising or managing people or anything like that. And it was through a lot of people just influencing our lives and saying, keep going, this is a good plan, this is something that's needed in the Seattle area. And we just kept chipping away and moving forward, and here we are 10 years, and we've expanded to this new space as well, and we have folks like you who've joined our team. So, you know, it all kind of works out as long as we continue to check in with sometimes our gut is like, no, just keep going. It's a good thing that you're trying to do. And it comes with a lot of give and take.
Of course. Wow. Well, kind of tying in with where you've seen it come, I remember you mentioning, you know, you were just out of college or in college, you were dating your now husband, so was Melanie at the time, and now that you're married, you have a son. Also, having gone through each channel and department in a certain way, which I think is amazing because she was at the bottom, you could say, you know, doing marketing, answering phones, doing mailings. Like, she was a part of all those departments, which now she has us, you know, of course. But
I'm so grateful.
But I think that's amazing because you've been there, you know, and you can say, I've been through that. I know you can do it, you know? How is it like being now CEO and having a family and being at this point?
You know, that title or that promotion, I'm still kind of, you know, coming into, getting used to, trying to make it my own in a lot of ways. There wasn't a CEO ahead of me. You know, there wasn't an executive ahead of me, or there wasn't an office manager when I was office kind of running the front desk kind of person ahead of me. And so like any hurdles that we've had, you kind of roll up your sleeve and you go, okay, it's sink or swim, right? And you just dive head first and do it. I remember our first patient. I remember getting the first phone call. I remember booking the first appointment. I remember all those moments because those were really pivotal moments of like, oh my gosh, our phone system works to be able to take an appointment. All of those little pieces that comes into building an organization from the ground up. Sure. You really take it for granted walking into something like that when you haven't been a part of it from the very beginning. And being able to build the clinic from the ground up in the way of constructing how the layout was going to look. I feel like I can build a house now. So a lot of it was experience that I can now take into my personal life. But yeah, I was just a kid, 25 and just newly married, and in some ways my infertility, and I've been very open and candid about that. In some ways, my infertility had been a gift. Now looking back, because I was able to dive headfirst into this organization, and this organization was my child that I was hoping to grow and nurture and feed so that it can run the way it runs now. Sure. And that takes a village of people. I did not do this all on my own. I just have had the privilege of being able to physically chip away at some of these tasks or some of these goals. But I could not have done it without Dr. Rutherford. And she and I have grown so close. We're practically very close family at this point. And like I said, it's my husband and I's first child.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, and now it's 10 years old, and so it's like there's still so many other milestones as I'm sure parents out there understand that we still have to reach. But I've grown as the organization has grown as well, and it has shaped me in so many ways as a professional doing this kind of work. Yeah. So yeah, it's been a great ride.
That's awesome. Well, I'm sure your husband too, and now your son, Max, just of course will continue to be a part of it, and it's really great to see that unity amongst you guys as well. So it's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, final question before we finish off the little interview. What is something that you, reflecting on the 10 years, would take moving forward? Because of course, I know, we hope 3W continues to spread and get bigger. What is something that you would take away and, see as you move forward?
Yeah, we're so 10 years is a milestone of our incorporation as our first board meeting ever.
Right.
So I think sometimes folks are like, whoa, you guys have been around for a long time. In actuality, 3W Medical for Women, our clinic, our medical department, has only been around for 4 years. We've reached our 4th year in opening our doors and in functioning and seeing patients. So that piece to it, we're still in kind of the startup phase. And now with our coming into our 4th year and having 3 years under our belt, there's a lot of more done, making it better to be able to grow into other areas of Washington State that potentially could be a much needed area that we haven't reached. There are plenty more women out there that needs our services. There are plenty more women and men out there that need answers to their reproductive health. And I am eager to reach them as much as possible. And I think that means really understanding, again, who we are as an organization, celebrating those milestones, those high standards of care, and then building on that.
Sure.
Making it better, polishing it, and then presenting it to another community in which we're called to serve. And I think that's going to take this year. That's what we're really going to be focusing on. It might get quicker because we can get things quicker, or it might take this whole year. I don't know yet. We're still kind of in that planning phase of what this year is gonna look like. But I'm so honored and proud to be able to walk do this work, walk alongside our patients. I don't get to care for the patients like the medical staff do.
Sure.
But I know from what I've seen, from what I've heard, from the feedback we've gotten from the community, from the patients that do trust us with their care, I know that we get to be a part of their lives in some way, and that's enough for me. That's enough to keep me going.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm looking forward to, and I hope that our donors and supporters and those out there that continue to follow us through the years, I hope they feel a part of this growth, a part of this milestone as well.
Wow. Well, Helen, thank you so much for taking the time to share with our community this, this milestone, because it is. And, for all those listening that don't know about us or that are just kind of passing as you're scrolling, please look into our organization. Our website is 3wmedical.org. Also here on Facebook and Instagram. And please, we have so many resources, a lot of exciting videos too, and we're just beginning the new year, so please stay tuned for, diving into who we are and what we do, and we're really excited to celebrate this 10th year anniversary. So thank you, Helen, so much.
Thank you so much.
All right, take care, everyone.